What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Hometown Advantage, where two hometown guys shine light on small town sports. This is Dominic Masmiano, teacher and head football coach at Rising Sun High School, and joining me as always is my co-host Shane Muller.
What's going on?
Former Rising Sun and Wesley College baseball player. This episode is brought to you by Cecil County's own Bird Dog Plumbing. They are expertly trained to handle all plumbing emergencies the same day you call. As a family-owned business with young kids themselves, they understand the importance of keeping your family on schedule. Upon calling, they'll quickly diagnose and solve any plumbing problems you have so you can make it to your child's practice that evening without worrying about any plumbing issues at home. They are licensed and bonded in Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. Give them a call today. They are ready to spot your plumbing solutions with Bird Dog Precision.
Do it.
As always, we think it's awesome you decided to join us, and we have 2 episodes out now, so Go check out. We got Coach Hess from the local Rising Sun basketball team, and we got Joe, NFL player, so go check them out. And if you like what you hear, be sure to download our episode, leave us a rating, join our socials, share us with all your sports-loving friends. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at hometown_advantage1.
Mm-hmm.
And we are off. So today, we are joined by a Rising Sun legend. Not only has he been coaching multiple wrestlers to state championships over the last few years, but he has collected 2 1A, 2A state championships himself during his time in Rising Sun. Talk about a guy that loves small town sports, Rising Sun wrestling assistant coach, Anthony Cimorosi. What's going on, man?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on here, man. I'm so excited to be on here.
So, as you hear, going to be less coughing tonight, so that's really good.
Thank God.
Really, really good.
I was actually listening to the Joe podcast on my way up here. It was like that little bit. I was like, what's he going to say here? I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I just had to stop. So, I can actually talk tonight. My voice is fully not back, but things are going to be good. So, we're excited to have you on.
Man, I'm so pumped to be here. We talked about it at the Beef and Beer on Saturday, man. I'm so excited to be here.
A few beers in, it's like, let's go!
Exactly.
I do. I appreciate the fact that people want to be on it now.
I feel like
We've
that
only done
intro.
2 episodes.
Yeah, I feel like that intro deserved like a hype up montage, just of all your pins, man.
That's funny.
Followed by. I couldn't get Cecil County sports, especially wrestling, I guess, doesn't do you guys justice. Besides, you can't go back and look at all your records and stuff.
No, unfortunately not.
There's no max preps for
not for wrestling, and if there is, they don't really keep up on it. Like a lot of coaches, it's mainly on the coaches to kind of put that stuff in there.
Yeah.
But back when I was doing that was over 10 years ago, and we had Coach Cox on there, and I'm sure if Coach Cox is going to listen to this, so sorry, but I'm sure he wasn't a little too tech savvy back then, so I don't expect that.
No.
I used to just get all my info on the auxiliary gym wall.
Exactly.
Just all the records.
Anthony's name is plastered on that wall in multiple different spots, and you graduated in 2013?
2013, yeah.
So, and unfortunately, that wall ends at 2014, but we are working on that. You guys are going to paint that up, right?
That's the I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. I'm not involved in the booster program like that, but I'm not going to have any comment on that.
Let me say that I am a PE teacher, and all our machines are blocking said wall. I know they're not happy about that, and also not happy about painting the wall. But we're trying to. But yeah, we'll get back to that later.
Yeah, everybody will be happy at the end, I'm sure.
You just got to sneak in there and do it at night.
That's not my job to do it. It is Boosters Club, and I know the wrestling team was fighting back a little bit.
Yeah, they definitely were. They were snipping.
I mean, I get it. It was your wall, but the only thing to me is we're running out of room on it. It's
I think a big thing too is we haven't updated it since.
Exactly.
There have been state placers and guys who've gone. We have a 20-win club and 100 wins. I think this year was actually the first year in a while we had a couple kids get 100 wins, but
4,
we had 4 this year.
Yeah,
that's unbelievable, man. It's crazy.
That's crazy, dude.
And one of them was a junior, so he still has another. Yes, he has another year. So I think it's just updating it, and on our state wall, it's a big Maryland, the state of Maryland, and there's no more space on there for the state places, and we got a couple more to add on there.
And the 20 win club scroll has been pushed over to the side now. So I'm all for updating that wall, but I have no say in this. So
20 win club. That sounds funny. That doesn't seem like a lot of wins.
It was hard.
Okay.
Back then,
Now it's so many tournaments. Right?
I mean,
I was about to say, because I feel like you guys are wrestling every weekend and multiple matches a weekend.
Well, I think a big thing too is we do a lot of dual tournaments, and that, I mean, you're getting 10 guaranteed matches whether you win or lose there. I mean, we had probably over 50 matches individually, for a lot of these kids. So 50 matches in a year. I mean, you're already halfway there if you go undefeated. So.
What was it when you wrestled? Was it the same thing like that?
I would get generally about 40 matches a year. Never really got too much more than that.
Gotcha.
But, we didn't really do that too many dual meet tournaments. We just did individual stuff.
Gotcha.
And all that's double elimination, so you lose twice, you're done.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's kick some things off here. We'll start, we were talking to Anthony beforehand. We just kind of told him how we like to start at the beginning of the journey and kind of just move on and, especially when we have a coach on, we just want to end with, how awesome it is to be a coach and what your coaching philosophy is, all that good stuff. But so when you think about Rising Sun Wrestling, the first thing that comes to mind is Coach Cox. I mean, now you guys are putting some stuff together now. Obviously the Garvins, the Cimorosi, the Testerman. I mean, they all come to mind too. But you always think about Coach Cox first.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he definitely put us on the map for sure. I mean, there would be no Rising Sun Wrestling like what we have today if it wasn't for him.
Right.
I mean, I think everybody still today, I mean, they talk about Rising Sun Wrestling. Coach Cox, Dean Cox is definitely his name getting thrown out in there.
Right.
National
Hall of Fame, and he it doesn't make too much sense to me.
I was about to say that.
So he got the National Hall of Fame before he got the Maryland State Hall of Fame, and because that just happened this past year, and that doesn't make too much sense to how you can get the national before the state, but hey, he's in there, rightfully deserved, so it's about time.
That's the state dragging their feet, Maryland.
Exactly.
Right.
He was nationally recognized before he even got seen at the friggin' state. Come on, man.
It's crazy.
I wonder what his all-time winning record is
for wins for dual meets.
Yeah, I guess this is a little difficult, huh?
You wouldn't do it as in with your individual wrestlers,
right?
No, you would do it off of team wins, and I know he was well over 250. So I think he was probably close to 275. I want to say. I don't know if he made the 300 mark, but I mean, still, I think he was there for.
Damn.
Oh, I don't even know how long he was in there. I just read the articles about 700 times this year, so I should feel like I know it. But he was there for a long time. But I mean, he's definitely the guy for Rising Sun Wrestling, no doubt.
Yeah. Right.
How was it having him as a coach? And all I know is about Coach Cox when I was there is that every time I walked in the locker room is, hey, you want to wrestle? No, I play basketball. And we talked about that on last podcast. Probably should have wrestled. But how was it having him as a coach? I know he was tough. I just watched you guys in there in full sweatpants, running around like madmen.
100 degrees in that auxiliary gym.
Stank that would come out of that gym.
Exactly. So
I know he was tough, but how was it?
Kind of give you guys a little, go back a little bit more to how I got into Rising Sun. And the reason I got into Rising Sun was actually because of Coach Cox. Before I came to Rising Sun, before we moved there, I was wrestling for another team of Holy Angels in Delaware. And so since I was able to wrestle for them, I went to a private school, yada, yada, yada. Long story short, we were looking to move, and we were looking at wrestling spots, and the best was Rising Sun and Coach Cox, and we knew the name all around, even when I was a kid in 5th grade or 4th grade.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, I came there for Coach Cox.
Yeah.
Right.
And I remember my 7th grade year, I'm going to a dual meet in the high school, and he's pulling me to the side, and he's like, what grade you in? How many more years do we have left till you're up there?
Illegal tampering.
Nah, it never happened. But, no, it was definitely.
I'll bleep that out.
It was definitely. It was a lot of fun. It was honestly bittersweet for me because when I coming in, knowing the legend that I had as a coach in Coach Cox, having him for the 3 years that I had him was truly remarkable.
Right.
But the bittersweet part is that, I ended with him too. I was his last state champ, which is really nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool. But at the same time, my senior year, my last year, unfortunately, I didn't have him there. But he was still there, even though he wasn't in my corner. He was pulling me to the side at gym class and everything, giving me pointers. So he wasn't in my corner, but he was in my corner the whole time.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy to think too, because every time I saw him early, because we were coming there and lifting while you were in there, and I just saw him back, and I was like, just why even question that? I just went I was like, you couldn't stay away. He's like, nah, as long as I could.
Him, man.
And question maybe everybody has that mid-season drought where you're like, oh, go to practice. And he's, like you said, he's been doing it for so long, it probably was like time to just take a break for a
Oh, yeah. And, like,
he's going to retire soon, so, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. And I get it. And, you know, he talked to me about it. He actually pulled me out of class before the announcement came out, and he told me everything. So, I mean, we were close. We were really close. So, it was...
yeah, that's super respectable.
Tough. Yeah.
I never even had him as a teacher or a coach, but he was just... saw Coach Cox, it was, how you doing, sir?
He has that respect to him. But the crazy thing is like, that's everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're a kid, if you're an adult. He just has that respect to him.
Yeah. That is the legacy I am trying to build.
Amen.
Amen. See Coach Dom walk the other way. But yeah, so, you know, you're wrapping up your senior year, and we've talked about 2 different styles of recruiting now, basketball and football. I really genuinely, you know, this is a great episode for me and Shane.
Yes.
I don't know anything about wrestling as much as watching a few matches. I've been out to a lot of matches, you guys. I know a spladle, just because that's a cool word.
Yeah, right.
Didn't know what that was until that picture that came out.
The ESPN one?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a spladle.
That's what that is.
You know, fireman's carry, because Mason Testman crushes that move.
Right.
But what was your recruiting process like? And like when you got out of Rising Sun, because I know you went to Ellsworth, but what was the rest of your like wrestling career look like?
So I took a little crazy of a journey. You know, for the longest time I would beat myself up about it because I definitely was a Division I caliber wrestler. And I was, you know, like I said, I was listening to Joe's podcast earlier, and you know, it's D1 or bust, D1 or bust, and you know that was my mindset the whole time when I was in high school. Unfortunately, you know, academic side, student athlete first, and the student part didn't come. So, you know, the first step I took was I planned on going to University of Maryland. I talked to the coaches a lot and everything like that. And their steps for me were to go to junior college. So kind of scoped it out, and Ellsworth is in Iowa, and Iowa is like Pennsylvania is like the mecca of wrestling. Yes, so it's like, if I want to go out and get some tough competition, like the best kids around the country, let me go to Iowa. So decided to go out there and have a little fun and see what it was like, and realized I got homesick real quick. Yeah. So it was like August. I remember the first week I was in my dorm, it was like 100 degrees, and I was like, what am I doing out here? Then, you know, then the wintertime it gets freezing cold, snow. Yeah, so, but, you know, for that, the process was a little different, like I said, just because it was a junior college route, and, you know, wasn't my intended route that I wanted to do. So kind of jumping back over into there, it was I felt like I was taking a step back.
All right.
So to me personally, which is great now because I love being able to talk about it with the kids, and being a high school coach and a junior league coach, talk, like kind of showing them the journey is like, you know, no matter what happens, no matter how good of an athlete you are, it's like those grades aren't right, you know, you're not going. So I think the big goal was definitely to go to Maryland, but unfortunately didn't choose that route.
Right. I think that's like one big thing that we're doing a really good job of too, is like all 3 of us, you know, we went to that next level and played a little bit, but like when we were doing it, there wasn't much info out there about like going to college, or, you know, what to expect, or, you know, like what recruiting was going to be like, what actually being a student athlete in college is going to be like. And I think every time we have somebody on that's been at that next level, like we all shine a different light on like, okay, for anybody out there that thinks this might be what they want to do, like do this and do that, and do this and do that, you know. And it's like, and it's good having a coach that's been there as well, because we also talked a little bit about that before, where it's like sometimes in these public schools, like these coaches, they don't have an idea.
Oh no,
you know, they're just coaching because they like baseball or wrestling or whatever, and they got some free time and they want to help the school out or whatever.
Usually they have like a kid on the team or something like that. They want to jump on there and just kind of do that.
Right.
I mean, we've heard it all. Like Hess was talking about going to JUCO because of money, and Joe went to D3 because he just loved the coach, which was obvious, and like the coordinator was so gung ho. Right. And you're talking about grades. I mean, like it all happens. I mean, like and that's the best part you said, was that looking back now, you're not like you took some time and you're like beat yourself up about it, but now you can just share like, yo, it's
Oh yeah, I love reflecting on it and being like
it's okay to go to JUCO.
Yeah, there's no problem with it. There's plenty of guys who are professional athletes that went that JUCO route first, or even went Division 1 or 2 and then went JUCO and then went back. I mean, there's stories all over the place. So it's just like, if you're out there listening, if you're having any trouble with just like, hey, it's D1 or nothing, D1 or nothing. No, it's not. It doesn't matter. Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA. Junior college, clubs, it does not matter. Those kids are going to that next level because they want to be good, and they are good.
Right. Yeah. You posted you posted the perfect thing. It was like,
let's read that.
It was like D1 or bust. Yep. No, it doesn't matter whether it's 1, 2, or 3. Like I think it said like only 7% of athletes make it to the next level.
That's all sports. I want to make that known. That is all sports, because when you talk football, or probably any sport, because you break it down to all the sports. Right. I know football exactly is like 1% of kids go to the next level from high school sports. 0.1% go to the NFL. Wow. 0.1% of every single person playing. Like, it's okay. Like, it's not that crazy.
No, it's really not.
And where's this post at? So, so if you play D1, you're a stud. Play D2, you're a stud. D3, you're a stud. NAIA, you're a stud. JUCO, you're a stud. And then it says 7%. Just, you go to the next level. You're playing the sport for another 4 years.
Yeah, if you want to. Be grateful for it.
Right, 2 if you want to go to JUCO, and then 2 somewhere else. Regardless, you're playing for 4 more years, and some people, a lot of people's, 99% of people's, end at high school.
Right,
and they hang on to those memories, and like they don't get to go build another bond with other people, stuff like that. So I mean, just. Can't preach it enough. We preach it for 3 episodes now, and we'll continue to preach it.
Oh yeah,
if you're listening.
That's the biggest thing. I mean, I feel like that's what another part of this podcast is about. Is hopefully like these younger kids are listening, and hopefully they're getting the ideas from the 100%. Guys that went through that route and went down the roads and everything like that. So you can learn from us.
Yeah,
that's the whole goal. I mean, we want to shine light on small town sports, which we've been doing a good job of, and we got a lot more people lined up for it. Yep. But like at the end of the day, I want mostly the kids to be listening to this. I want the whole freaking county, Hartford County, anybody listening to this and being like, okay. And, a lot of people do think like that. If you have a really good coach like you or like myself that is telling the guys a lot, like this is it's okay.
Right.
It's like, this is a journey. This is what you need to do this. It's not just like, hey, hope you go play next level.
Exactly.
Right. So
go out there and good luck.
Yeah. Right.
That's what a lot of kids have to understand too. Is it is a journey. Like it's hard when you're that young because you want it to be like instant gratification, or like you just want to automatically be good enough to play D1 or whatever. And it's like, listen, dude, slow down. It's a journey. You got to work for process, it.
Man. It is. Trust that process and just go along with it.
Even me tearing my ACL going into Wesley, still was like, I was pretty good at Rising Sun. Day 1, and I'm like. Okay, we are in a different world. I know we were top 5 in the nation, but it's in Division 3, and I just got I talked about this before. I just got picked up by another man on scout team, just lifted off the ground.
Right.
So I better work for it because you still got to work for it once you get there, and so. Moving on to your coaching career, and we got a lot of stuff when we get through that, because you guys have just done such a phenomenal job of coming back. And how long have you been coaching? I feel like I'm missing a few years.
So before I came to, I've been coaching at Rising Sun for 4 years.
Okay, so I was okay.
So then before that, I was at Bow Manor for a year.
Oh, gross! Sorry, Bow Manor.
Shout out to Dave Kiss. Yeah. Thank you for that. If it wasn't for him, I would have not gotten my coaching journey started. So I got to give him a shout out for that. So. It definitely hurt a little bit. The good thing is they are the Eagles, so I was representing the Eagles at least. I was trying to look at the positives of the whole thing. But no matter what, you caught me. I'm bleeding orange and black no matter what. So,
so when you were like, so coming back to you got your job at Bow Manor, like what was the driving factor? It was like, I'm coming back, like I'm ready to go. I'm going to start coaching.
I just missed wrestling. I've missed competing, and I mean, I was definitely young enough I could still go out there and maybe not compete in college or anything like that, and there's not much to do, but there's open tournaments around where, not older guys, but guys around my age are going out there and doing stuff, but I'm a competitor, man, and that's why wrestling was such a perfect sport for me, but I just wanted to get back into it. I wanted to give back to the sport that's given me so much and it's given me everything. I mean, I've been able to travel around the whole country and meet Olympians and national champions and it's given me so much. Now I feel like it's my time to give it back.
Yep.
At like what point in your head were you like where you thought you were ready to coach? Because like obviously you knew the sport, you love the sport, you've met a lot of people and all that, but coaching it is just a whole another ball game, you know what I mean?
It definitely is. And I remember my first time going into the practice room, I was like, oh, I know I'll be able to go out there, and it's like you're going out there instructing, and it's like one-on-one, and it's like I forget how to do a step of champion, I forget how to do a high crash. It's like, trying to explain it step by step was definitely like a journey for me to kind of learn that. Because I know the moves and everything. I know how to do them. So it's just breaking it down was tough for me.
Right.
But I think it was just I would work out with some kids every now and again, and go over to their house and practice with them every now and again. And kind of just he wrote me into it. The Dave Kiss, the guy I was talking about, I'll kind of practice with his sons a little bit, and he just asked me one day, and I was like, yeah, definitely, let's give it a try. Let's see how it goes. And here we are.
And we talked about with Hess, too, because he coaches at the high school, and just kind of, like, since you were such an elite level wrestler that went on to do more, it's like that learning curve of, like, oh, there's this freshman kid that walked in here that just said, I'm going to try wrestling.
Right.
And you had to start learning how to differentiate
man.
instruction.
Exactly.
Like, when I tell a kid to get in a three-point day one, it's like... Hey, okay, exactly. I forgot I have to teach a kid how to get in a three-point stance.
Right.
But, like, where you think, like, that move is, like, you don't know that move?
Exactly.
Like, you don't know this warm-up? And it's like, wait a sec, yeah. I got to step back, and it's like, holy smokes, I got to gear it so far down.
Right.
And then build it back up once you, like you've done at Rising Sun. You guys are just... like clockwork. Every time I go in there,
I would think wrestling would be really hard in that aspect because, like...
yeah.
It is so much like a one-on-one type training sport.
Right.
It's like you want to teach that freshman everything like from the ground up, but you have your seniors and your juniors that are really good that you're like, okay, these guys are going to be state champions this year. Like, I need to really work with them.
Right.
It's like, how do you bounce that?
So honestly, like, one thing that Coach Cox told me this year, because I always go to him for advice, whether it's junior league wrestling or high school wrestling, I always go to that man for advice. And, he told me, he's like, you got to base your practices off your best wrestler. Because, like, if you kind of, like, take a step back and try to go up to your novice guys, your first year guys, and try to get them up to where everybody else is at, those guys who are already at that level won't go anywhere. Yeah. So it's like,
makes sense.
But another thing is too, is like the coaching staff that we have at Rising Sun is just like
stacked.
Oh my gosh. I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but we are by far probably the best in the state. It's pretty insane. And like what's so good about it is that we have coaches for all levels. So we got coaches that can go roll around with the freshman, sophomore, first, second year guys, and we have coaches that can go with state champs, national ranked guys, and so it's just like that balance there is perfect, and I think that's why we're slowly like we're getting back to where we need to be. We're there already.
Yeah, you
that's
guys
awesome.
are there.
We're there.
You guys are there, and like I love the fact that I'm selfishly just as a football coach, I didn't obviously know it as a high schooler because I would have done it. And then, like, when I went to college and saw, the Bryce Shade, who was a New Jersey State champ wrestler, it was like, that dude doesn't get tackled and, like, knows, and I was like, knows leverage and how to, like, take a hit. And his core is really strong. And it's like, yeah, wrestling is really important, especially for the big guys.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love that Caleb is doing wrestling.
I love it.
And, like, I know he's super raw to it and fresh, but, like, he's getting better. But, like, just learning how to just contort your body, getting on the D line as a big guy and just freaking, like, you're going to be
able to move quick, too. Yeah, those guys will be able to move quick.
Right. So, like, I am in your guys' court for, that, like, and I try to get more.
We've talked about it.
Yeah.
I've been on you trying to get your players. Trying to recruit some guys over.
I get it. And I'm going to be, like, so much more adamant with it. And, like, Coach always comes out and gives the guys some Gatorade, some waters, talks to them, too. But it's like, hey, thanks for the Gatorade. I'm going to move on. But
right.
I just want them to understand the importance of how those two sports correlate. And so
I can't think of any other sport that can go better together.
Yeah. And it's an individual sport to an 11-man sport, but you're doing your job at that 11-man sport, and it's like half the stuff comes from leverage.
It's so crazy.
Tackling and getting low and taking the guy's legs and staying on your feet.
Because you don't realize it when you're doing it, but in the long run, those two are about the same.
Right. Yeah, I think I agree. I think everybody should wrestle at some point, for no matter what other sport you play, because like it's good for body awareness. You really figure that out. It's good for just pure athleticism. It helps build up your body strength. If you're not, some kids aren't into the weight room thing, but you can get strong being a wrestler, man.
Push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups and squats. That's all you need, right there.
I'm just a sissy, and I won't do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu yet with Shane. I got a weak jaw. I feel like I'll get elbowed and just get knocked out or something. But yeah, no, I still wish I would have done it. And now I'm just going to push more people to it.
It's so funny because the amount of times I've heard either they've tried wrestling and then they stopped in high school, or they never tried it, but they wish. The amount of times I've heard that since graduating is like truly unbelievable, because I would never think that certain people that come up to me and is like, yeah, I did wrestling for my freshman year and didn't do it since, but man, that was the best time of my life. So it's just like, go out there and try it.
Right. Yeah. And especially coming from like our time at Rising Sun, it was like, and watching how dominant you guys were, it's like, man, we missed out on a great run of 4 years.
Right.
I played basketball.
I think it's really important too for like little kids, boys and girls, to do it that young, because it helps build a lot of self-confidence. Yes. Like all the time, like you see these videos of, like little kids. They're little kids, right? So they're not fully confident in themselves, and something may happen.
That one video, the kid just freaking McGregor walking out to his match. That kid's freaking got some swag. Right?
Yeah, I mean that's what you need. Like I hate saying this, but the kids are soft, right? So you have to toughen them up, and kids are gonna cry or whatever. But doing a competitive, hard sport like that at such a young age, like that can really help build confidence up for a lot of kids.
And we'll touch on that, because I definitely want you to hit on the junior program, just because
sorry, I kind of jumped the gun.
Oh, you're good. And I just I go to the basketball games and I just peek my head in and I'm like, there's 50 kids in there.
Oh my gosh.
Just having fun and rolling around, doing something, you're in there too, and it's like, but they're also learning, and that's literally how you build a program.
Exactly.
We have our junior football program, but we've kind of been disconnected for a little bit, and we're trying to build that gap because, Texas, California, whatever state, Florida, their feeder programs do what they do, and you do what you do to a different level. Right. And by the time they get to you, it's like, hey, this stuff. Let's roll.
You're ready to go. Exactly.
Go. Yeah, let's work on the finer details.
Exactly.
So I mean, it's the feeder system you guys are building right now has been built.
Yeah,
is amazing. So. Yeah. So before we get to our more coaching, I just want to give a little shout out to our sponsor, Kenny Page, our buddy. Just wanted to take a second to shout out Kenny Page Sports Photography. Kenny is a photographer local to Cecil County who specializes in sports action, photos, and individual and team portraits. As a Rising Sun High School alumni, Kenny loves supporting his local community while staying involved in sports. Interested in more info on pricing and booking availability? Reach out via email to kennypagephotography@gmail.com, and be sure to follow him on Instagram at Kenny Page Sports, or find him on Facebook at Kenny Page Sports Photography.
Look, the guy takes really good pictures. If you got a kid that's a senior in high school, you want to get your sports portraits done, you want to get your graduate portraits done, give him a call. He's been at plenty of wrestling matches. He gets awesome action shots. So he's always at all the games, so you can reach out to him and get any pictures that he may have taken of your kids. So hit him up.
And Kenny, shout out for the picture that I posted on Instagram, because the picture that I posted of you was from Kenny.
Great shot, Kenny.
It was. He's good, man.
I got it from Google, so sorry. Your stuff's out there. You need to copy mark or whatever that watermark your stuff is. So yeah. So getting back to
before we go on.
Oh, hold up now. You don't even know what this is. It's trivia time, baby.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I hit that on the hard out there.
Yeah.
I'm getting better. So, we got 3 trivia questions for you.
Oh, boy.
Joe got 1 for 3.
Right. Hess got 1 for 3. But he was really close.
But he was very close to the other one. So
I have the amount of confidence I have in myself right now is, it's not high.
I never make them easy questions, especially Joe's. How many passing yards do you get, to the T? I want to know.
Oh, my gosh.
But, all right. So, first one, I'm actually going to jump questions here. I want to start with, what is Tyler Garvin's, since you've been coaching him for a little bit, record throughout high school?
Man, I know it's in the 130s. I want to say it's 136-0.
Woo!
141.
Let's go.
136. Okay.
Real quick, it doesn't get talked about enough, and I just want to brag about that just for a second. This kid went undefeated all 3 years. COVID year kind of ruined that.
Would have went undefeated for
4 years. But yeah, that's truly unbelievable.
That is.
So now we're getting to you. I'm going to jump questions again because I want to end with the state championship question. What was your record when you won Wrestler of the Year?
Which year?
Now, okay.
Oh,
okay.
That's not in my notes, man. I don't know.
There was 3 years.
This is bad. All right, so this one doesn't give me a year. So you were wrestling at 152.
That's junior year.
Okay, junior year.
What was my record?
It said pinned weight to regional final, compiled blank and blank record, and finished unbeaten in MPSSA competition.
I want to say 38-2.
No.
Close.
So close. So listen, I wanted to take a second real quick and shout out Mason Testament if you're listening, because Mason said he will know the numbers. 38-3.
3? Wait,
So-
I got to... Okay, yeah, I think that is right.
Overcompensated on his losses. 3 losses, buddy. No,
Close.
But he was like, he will know the numbers. But now I don't know if you know this, because this is a tough one, but you might know it because you sounded pretty good. I'm going to give you 1.5 on that because
Yeah, that's pretty
dang
good. That's pretty good.
Got the wins.
Pretty dang good. What was the score of your final match for your senior year state championship?
Oh, 8-6.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
With confidence.
I knew
Literally
that
didn't
one.
take a second.
I knew that
Confidence. Didn't take a second.
Come on now.
All right. 2.5 out of 10.
Let's go.
I can't give you the 3.
That's fine. I
But-
can take it.
I don't make these questions easy. And all right, that was impressive.
That was
I'm
very
probably
impressive.
not going to get beat unless I just say, "Did you play baseball? Yes or no?" Yes, you got it. Okay. Wow. Okay, that was okay. Great session of trivia.
Yeah, that was good. That was fire.
All right. Good job.
Wow.
Okay, so let's get back to
I feel good now. I'm ready to go.
this guy's loose. I can't. I forget we're on camera too. Hey. Yeah, I forget about that. We're trying out some YouTube.
Let's go.
How you doing? Check out
This
the
is
Eagles.
awesome.
Check out the Eagles nest.
The den down here. This is where it's at.
Show you the
man.
rest of it, but if you're not an Eagles fan, you wouldn't appreciate it. So, we talked about this question, and we talked about it before. Actually, we didn't talk about it yet, but kind of when Coach Cox left, I really personally don't remember who stepped in, but I don't want to. I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers here, but Rising Sun Wrestling went through a little bit of a drought.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We weren't producing the state finalists like we were. We had 11 people coming out. You know what I mean? Even when you started, I think the numbers were low.
Oh yeah.
But what was the turning point to getting the program back to what it is to this date, where we just had 2 state championships and six podium finishers?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
7 actually, I
Sorry.
think.
Okay.
Because you got throw Anna in there. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
7.
you're right. And she took third.
She's a third.
Yeah, so 7
The
podium
only
finishers.
loss was to a girl who's number 1 in the country.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
So
Anafar, shout out,
Yeah.
is a beast. Handles her own.
so man. I don't even know where to begin, really.
Yeah, there's a
That's
lot
tough.
to it. There's a lot to it. It's all right.
Man, I don't know. I don't know. I'm stumped on that one.
I mean, I feel like I can answer the question just based off of what you said in regards to the
think,
coaching staff.
I think it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, is the feeder program too.
Yeah, right,
I
sure.
think when we were going through that drought, like we were having a drought in the junior league program as well.
Okay.
So we weren't producing kids. Like we would probably get maybe 10 kids
That's
in
insane
junior
for the numbers I
for
see now.
advanced,
Sure.
and then we have a ton of novice, but with novice, they come and go.
Oh, so you have. I'm jumping ahead, but we're gonna talk about this later. So you have different divisions. I'll keep that in
we'll
mind.
go back to that. But yeah, so I think it starts with the junior program, and the coaching staff at the high school during that time, it was they were good coaches. I just think the chemistry wasn't there.
Sure.
And I'm not trying to put anybody down or anything when I'm saying that.
The numbers are the numbers.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. And my brother wrestled through those years,
Yeah.
so I would go to every dual meet, I'd go to every tournament, so I kind of saw it.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion on the whole situation.
Sure.
But I would really think it's going to be the feeder program.
That's a good. I mean, that's a great answer. I was gonna just say, that and just the culture that I've watched you guys build since I'm there every day and watching you guys come in. Everyone knows what they're doing when they start, and I'm just in the weight room, but like when I come out, it is full go, no business, like all business.
Right.
And you're in the middle, like everyone's wrestling around. You're in the middle, like you guys command the room. Like when you guys start speaking, you guys command the room, and that's what that's what I trying to do at football. It's all about the culture.
Oh,
we
yeah.
came back, they'd won 1 game in 4 years, and 1 game, 0 games. I won 1 game my first year. Sorry, but we're turning that around. But like when we came in, we talked about we have to change the culture.
Right.
And
exactly.
It started with us too. Like, we can't just tell them. You can't just tell the wrestlers like, hey, you got to be better.
Yeah, you have to do it.
Right.
You have to do it.
You do it. But like you got to put some stuff on your own self.
Right.
Like you guys have. I mean, you guys are so passionate about it, and I watch you guys at wrestling matches where you have zero control. It's like me calling a play, and I have zero control of what they're doing. Right. But like you are so into it, and you never stop talking.
Very animated.
Exactly. Yeah.
The whole time.
Well, talk about we're the same person. I went through what I went through last season, and I'm doing a full sprint 70 yards on the field and being like, what the hell did I do that for? So yeah, you guys are up and at him.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
I know. I'm definitely one of the. I would have to say, out of our coaching staff, I'm the most animated.
Well, out of Luke's staff,
Luke's definitely up there.
He
but
yells,
he's down there. But
I was gonna say they're the even keel, like get stuff done through their talking and their experience and just their names.
Exactly.
You gotta have that young guy that brings the spark a little bit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who is the full staff?
So the head coach is actually Seth Garvin, and then there's me, and then there's Lance Evelyn, and then there's Luke Garvin, and then we have Dean Cox.
Okay.
So we are pretty
fully
loaded.
stacked.
It's a stupid staff.
It's insane, man.
So much like history between those. Anybody always got. So Luke is Tyler's dad.
Yes.
Okay. Seth is uncle. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And both
And
of
all
them,
of us coached by Coach Cox.
all of them coached by Coach Cox. All of them on the walls as well.
I actually didn't know that about. As I was just about to say, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Just say.
Yes. Yes. We were all on the
You're
wall.
on the wall. Sorry, I don't want to leave anybody out there. But I mean, what I've experienced, what I've seen, and just come to some of the matches, it's electric. You guys have also brought out a big crowd too.
Oh, I'm loving it, man. I'm loving the support behind the whole community, and
man, that's
your
awesome.
Wrestling families are awesome.
oh, it's so nice, and just everybody in town, the mayor, just like
That's how it should be.
it is so nice to see this, and it's something that we deserve. I mean, even when I remember when I was in high school, we'd pack a crowd a little bit, but not what we truly deserved, and I feel like that always kind of got to me because I like the wrestling team, as we talked about, was like Rising Sun. We were good at some sports, and we were great at some sports, and wrestling was definitely one of the sports we were great at.
I can't preach it enough in school that like, go watch our girls basketball team.
Yes,
they're really, really good. Go watch our wrestling team. They're dominant. The match might take 30 minutes because of Tyler pins a kid in 13 seconds and then Mason does it in 19 seconds.
Right.
But go watch them. It's electric. And like when we were playing, like the volleyball team was amazing, but no one went and like watched those games, man. Like they just want to go to the boys basketball, and I get it. I mean,
I understand it.
It's the football.
That's like the whole high school thing, go to the Friday night lights, go to the basketball games, and everything like that. So I get it.
All you jabronis going to watch our 1-9 football team, and you watch our wrestling team.
Man, but going to watch a wrestling match, dude, you just get so hype. Like
my gosh,
that's like one of the funnest things to watch.
I've learned so much just watching it.
Right. I mean, I don't watch much wrestling matches, but I watch a ton of jiu-jitsu matches.
Right.
And I mean, it's
they're
just
practically right there with each other.
Right. And it's like, how can you not watch that and just get so hyped?
Even if you don't know what's going on, like you don't know the scoring system and anything, you just like watch a period of it. You're like, man, you are getting into it. You're like, holy crap, this is what it's like. You're like, yes, man.
And the thing about it was
like I could run through a brick wall.
And the thing about it was like they're 2-minute periods, so it's like bang, bang. It's like
the longest 6 minutes of your life.
Well, true, yeah. Right. I mean, that's like punching a heavy bag for a minute, and you're like, I can do this. You're like, oh my god.
first 10 seconds, you're like done.
Yeah, right. And watching the 2 minutes at the end of every period, it's like it just amplifies. Because you're trying to get those points real quick before you go into that. Before you choose if you want to go into the down position.
Yes,
or on
top, bottom, or neutral.
Okay, I was gonna get there. See, I was gonna say you can go neutral, and they're flipping the card and doing all that stuff.
The coin, but we're right there. We're right there. You got it, man. You got it.
I got a little bit.
So you can choose where you want to start.
Yes.
So you choose. I would assume you choose based off of what you're best at.
More or less, yes. It just depends on the situation. There's different situations.
Right? So each round, one person
so after the first period, you'll get a coin. It's a green and a red side. You flip it. Whatever side it's on, you get the choice, and then the other person gets a choice. Kind of like football. You get the choice in the second half. That person gets a choice in the third period.
So walk us through that real quick. Like, this could be a long conversation, but very short synopsis. Like, I've watched people go neutral, maybe because you're just better standing up or something like that. But like, what's some of the thought process in telling a kid like, you get the flip, like you should be on the bottom, you should be on top.
So I'll give you guys a couple different situations. So if it's 0-0 out of the first, and we get choice, generally we're going bottom.
So you can get the escape. Got it.
There it is. So you can get the point.
Yep.
Because generally, if it's 0-0, and then say you get your point scored first, it's 1-0, and then it's 1-1, it's overtime, and the double, triple overtime. You get to the very last overtime. It's whoever scored first gets the choice in the last ultimate rideout. So if I scored my first points, I'm choosing, and then wherever if I can.
So you could just get that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So generally, you're going to choose bottom because it's kind of not easier, but
Right.
it's easier to get a point out.
Right. If you got the quick twitch muscle fibers, it's like I can get out of there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if say you're up 6-2 and you were taking this guy down left and right, maybe we'll try to go on our feet and take him down, put him to his back. That way we get the match over with. Generally, top is there, but not too many people, unless you're really good on top and you can like turn a guy and pin him.
Right.
It's usually either bottom, neutral, or deferred.
That's what I've seen mostly. It's either you want to be on the bottom for the point, and shout out Rusty Moore for teaching me about wrestling, just because he puts wrestling on in the weight room all the time. When it's we're watching March Madness out in the gym, he's watching March Madness.
There it is.
I thought I made that up, but
no, that's a
March
thing.
Madness
That's a whole
in
thing.
the weight room, and I'm like, all right, how'd he get that point? He's like, he did this. Okay, all right. And I just keep asking, is that a spladle?
You're just waiting for the spladle.
And then I see the picture, I was like, God, I've never seen that before.
Dude, it's so funny. When I first started jiu-jitsu, I went against a guy that was a wrestler in high school, and he grapevined me. And I was like,
what's
happening right now?
Explain that in words if you can.
So like one guy's on their back and the other guy's kind of on top, and what you do is you take your legs and you kind of intertwine them with that other guy's legs, and you kind of pressure your hips in to really kind of like pin this guy down to the mat, and like there's so much pressure, it's not comfortable down there.
Nah, when you're on the bottom, especially as somebody that doesn't know much or how to escape, if somebody's on top of you, full pressure grapevining you, it feels like you're drowning.
Yeah, it's not a good time.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, we learned. Okay. Cool.
Please look that up. Don't take my words and then kind of just like look it up for yourself.
Yeah. As you're intertwining your legs,
I'm like sitting back
on
there
the
grapevine, dog.
There goes Cimorosi's coaching career,
and it's done.
So anyway, talking about coaching career, we talked about Hess, and Hess is fairly new. He's 2 years into it. He's kind of finding his voice in the team, and Joe is new into coaching as well. But me and Shane we talked about just how rewarding it is. Just, you talked about competition, but like, now that you've been back for 5 years now, right?
Yeah.
5 years, like, what's some, like, number, give me the top 2 most rewarding things about being a coach.
Oh my gosh.
I know there's probably a long list.
Right.
Yeah. One of them, kind of, again, going back to like the freshmen, the first year guys, and then seeing where they're at when they're seniors, and like you've seen the process and you've seen their development and getting better, and just watching that whole way thing all the way through, that's a really good feeling. It's just because
that's my number 1 too. Yeah.
I don't know if you feel this way, but sometimes like when you're out there coaching and just like you don't know if you're really getting to the kid. If you don't really know if like the words you're saying is like really getting the kid's attention, and when it comes down to down the road and they come up to you and they thank you for all the things, and parents come up to you and thank you, you're like, all right, at least I'm doing something. So I would definitely say that's probably my number one, is just enjoying the process.
Yep. Right.
You know, watching that, like, now I like going back down to the first, second year guys and being like, all right, let's break it down and then work our way up. Yep. The second thing, oh man, after they win. Right. I mean, after a hard fought match and, like, you know, you're down dirty and it's just like
embracing the suit. I've seen the pictures.
It's all over the place, man. But when they grind out and win, and especially when it comes to like the last second, and it's just like, that's why you work hard. And that's why, and like you showed the other kids and you're like, this is why we do what we do. This is why we work hard in practice for this moment.
Right. And people won't understand that unless they've actually wrestled, because like you're saying, like in the soup or whatever, like when
Suit.
Or whatever it was, like
they're all up in that.
Yeah. Well, like when you're going 4 minutes with somebody and you're both to the point of pure exhaustion, you're sweat. Yeah,
exactly.
When you're literally just sweating your ass off, you're exhausted and you feel like you cannot move anymore, and you just pull like I have no wrestling background, but I have jiu-jitsu, and like you somehow, you know, get into a position where you can make the guy tap, but you know, it's like, holy shit. You know what I mean?
Like, how did I get here? Right. I don't know how this happened, but I'm here.
10 seconds ago, I thought I was dying.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, it is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably, it's my top two, 100%. Like, it's gotta be everybody's. If you're fully invested. Like, just watching the kid, whether it's a freshman or a senior for me, like, just do, because in football, there's so many moving parts. In wrestling, there's a lot of moving parts. But like in football, when like that just meshes,
like
together.
all the pieces come together, and you're just seeing everything.
God, it's like
it's like an orchestra. It's like everything's like sounds so beautifully, it looks so beautifully.
I called a play this year, and you know, and it was like, I don't know about it. I'm like, and the coach was like, it's good, and then it was like, I was like, walk to the end zone. I'm like, well, that was amazing.
Exactly.
That was amazing.
I knew that was going to happen the whole time.
Yeah. Never doubted for a second.
Never a doubt.
And then the second thing you said, we talked about it on your podcast, is talking about, I remember the specific moment of, a lot of different moments, but like that Hartford Tech, when we grind, like we're 6-3, they're 8-1, like powerhouse coming in, and that final whistle blew, and it's like, we did it. Just throw the headset, go freaking hug everybody.
Oh,
fist
man,
bump,
the
like
best.
Side bumping. Vaughn's freaking swan diving through a puddle because he said he would do it if we won. Like, it's just everything you let loose. And for you guys, I mean, like, football, we talked about it just being like, it's a grind Friday night. And it's either a win or a loss, right?
Right.
And it's restart again. And then for you guys, you don't wrestle every single day.
No.
But you have enough practices in between where it's like, we're grinding for a while sometimes, especially leading up to states.
Oh, yeah.
And that, it's like, it's one match or done.
Exactly.
And it's one match or done. And I think everyone is so sweet.
I think that's the big thing that we kind of preach to the kids from the get-go. Is like, you have to wrestle every match like it's a state finals match. Right. You know, when you're going out there, it's like, try to have that mindset. Yeah. You know, already kind of, you know, envision it's going to be there. Because if you don't wrestle every match like it's a state finals match, what are you going out there for? You know, you're not going to compete at your highest level that you can actually compete at.
Yep.
So. It's got to be really hard too, getting kids motivated after cutting a bunch of weight. You know, like leading up to the match. You know, just so drained or whatever, you feel like you just can't go out there.
We are definitely doing the right thing now, because I know we preach to the kids, like, hey, if you don't have to cut 10 pounds, don't cut 10 pounds. Like, wrestle what you weigh. Like, I know when I was wrestling, it was, you got to cut 10 pounds. Well, I'm doing it the night before and doing it the completely unhealthy way.
I just remember watching Adam just spit in bottles and wear trash bags.
I was just about to say, let me shout out Adam Heffelfinger for eating one cracker at lunch and drinking his own spit. Yeah. Just keeping it in his body. I'm like, and let's go back to when Coach Cox asked me if I wanted to wrestle. That's why I didn't want to wrestle. I'm like, that doesn't look fun.
Oh, man, it was not fun. No. Not fun at all. None of the times I've cut weight. Oh,
dude,
miserable.
Just watching him eat a cracker at lunch, and it was like,
I remember Brian Hurley. I had lunch with Brian Hurley, and I just remember him just bringing in like Dairy Queen or like a massive cheesesteak, and he's just sitting right next to me. I'm like, "What are you doing? Like, you know what? You've wrestled a year or two. Like, you know what you're doing here. Like, get away from me."
I get one grape, and then I have to spit it out once I taste it.
Oh man, Thanksgivings, like my freshman and sophomore year, they were rough. It was literally a plate, and it had like a carrot, a grape, and maybe a cracker on there. And that was my Thanksgiving
terrible,
dinner.
dude.
Yeah, it was rough.
I'm pretty sure like
did
Adam
say
would
we
just
want-
eat a spoonful of honey because it
Yeah.
honey fills your stomach.
Him and James
Simon
Hyman both would do
Good
that.
energy too.
Yeah.
But we did talk about people wanting to wrestle. We are starting to talk you out of it. But sorry. Hey, listen. But
No, we do
Coach
it the right way
Cimorosi
now.
said they do it the right
We
way.
do it the right way now.
Hey, Coach Cox, what the heck you doing out there?
We don't jam that thing up to 100 degrees. It just naturally gets that way
Dude,
now.
I mean, the stank. I'm sorry, the stank that comes out of that room.
Hey man, that's young men at work.
Yes,
there.
sir.
Listen,
Yes,
I got
sir.
to work in that area. The next morning, it's like, oh my god!
I will say,
slaps you in the face.
when Junior League comes around, I do try to open up the doors and try to air some of it out.
I
But,
appreciate
it
it.
is also in January and February, so it gets a little cold too. So
Right.
I try. Trust me, we get it all the time. And that's the first thing, like, the parents come in from Junior League, that's what they say. It's like, oh, you guys had a good practice. It's like, yeah, that's what it does.
Those mats,
Plus,
were
like-
they mopped or?
They are mopped. They're mopped. Not
got-
the ones on top.
No, definitely not those.
Those are not great.
Plus, you got a whole bunch of high school boys and
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is.
That's all part of the fun, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, we got really off topic about rewarding things about being coached, but whatever, that's good. So yeah, I mean, we have a few questions left, but got to hit on Coach Cox again. Shout out. I know you're probably not listening because you probably don't know what Spotify is, and if you want to slap me next time you see me, that's fine. But you get to work with Coach Cox now, and we already talked about how big of a icon he is nationally, now statewide.
Yeah.
But how is it working with him now as pretty much you're an equal, right? And it's kind of like probably a little like balance, like we're an equal, but I'm still going to go to him for every bit of advice. But like, just how is it being on the same staff as him?
He will always be coach.
Right.
He's always be my coach. Like, no matter what it is, like, as much as we are, like, I guess you could say the same as in the coaching level, he will always have that one. I just have that so much respect for that man. And like, I will always look at it that way. Like, it doesn't even have to be with wrestling. Like, I'll ask that man for advice for life in general. And it's just, it's such a rewarding feeling. I got that full circle moment with him that I'm able to be on the same coaching staff, because it was awesome to be one of his wrestlers, now, let alone be on the same staff as him and learn from him again. And now it's just on a different side. It's really rewarding. I love it.
Is he pretty good about like keeping his distance, like trying not to overstep, you or Coach Garvin or whoever?
Yeah, he knows, and I think his biggest thing is that he didn't want to get too involved. When he
Gotcha.
came back, it was like Seth coming up and was like, "Hey, if you want to, you can be a volunteer coach. Come in whenever you want. And, if you want to coach a practice, you can coach one. You want to run one, you can run one." But yeah, he kind of just stays back, and when it's his time to kind of step in, he steps right in.
Well, I think the best thing of it is that everything that you're doing is what he did.
Exactly.
So it's like, oh, okay, I'm just watching one
He's
of my
just
own
rewatching it all over again.
practice, right? There's probably never a time that he's like, what are these guys doing?
Exactly.
It's like, these guys are doing exactly what I said.
Exactly.
That's what almost be a better question to ask him. Like, what is
Coach
it like?
Cox, you want to be on?
You'd just be curious, like, what's it like to coach with a former player?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, I know every time I see him, you can't stay away, and I'm just great. I'll be doing it as long as I can do it. Like, as long as I can do it, yeah.
He won't leave.
And I know he's back with the junior. Well, is he doing?
He was so
He's working with Falston's junior program.
So he was back with us because his grandson was wrestling with us for a year. I think it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and
now he's at
then they went over to
Falston.
Falston, and then he was there coaching there last year, but he wasn't there this year.
At the high school?
No, the junior
the
program.
junior
He was just like
program.
a volunteer, kind of
Okay.
like step in when he needed to.
So
and
does he have any role with the junior program now, or no? Just the high school?
with the Rising Sun?
Yeah.
No, it's just
Okay.
he's all strictly high school now.
Gotcha. I can't love what you said most about, like, he'll always be coach. Like, anybody listening that calls me Dom, you're gonna get slapped when you graduate. But like, that's such a, and now even you're gonna start seeing it now, because like you on your 4th year, and now your kids are gonna be leaving you, right?
Right.
So like when they come back, just hearing coach is like such a rewarding. It's like
It is.
right.
I have the respect from them. Like it's awesome. And then you have the kids that come back. What's up, Dom? It's like, Like, guess I didn't impact you enough.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like, we're not friends yet, but
Right. I mean, that's just part of being an athlete. Because like even I still do it within jiu-jitsu. Like our instructor, the guy that owns the gym, he's older than I am, but I don't call him by his first name. I call him coach because that's what he is to us.
Right.
It's just, I mean, if you're an athlete and you have any respect for the people that are teaching you these things, like it should be coach.
And when you are coaching too, you'll see it now. And every time Seth comes in, what's up, coach?
Yeah.
And Coach Op, who doesn't coach football anymore.
It's still Coach Op.
What's up, coach?
Yep.
Like if you coach something and like another person knows the respect of being a coach, it's just coach.
Exactly.
And everyone's coach. Like, you coach anything. What's up, coach? Coach Az. Like, what's up, coach?
Right.
Like, I coached with him for a couple of years.
I feel like, honestly, if like I had one of my kids come up to me years down the road and they came up to me and was like, "Hey, coach," I'd be like, "That's the best thing you could have ever said to me. That's the best thing you could ever said to me."
That's that imprint you leave on them.
I still have, like my first year, 6 years ago, I still have kids coming up, "Coach, what's going on?" Even kids from 2 years ago, or 2 seasons ago now, I guess, last year, and it was, "What's up, coach?" Like, and I always be like, "Yep, I'll always be coach."
Right.
Like Coach Vaughn, I physically cannot call him the C word. Like I can't do it. Like, and that's just, we're getting on side topic. That's any teacher. Because if you have that level of respect, right?
Yeah.
It's like you were under them at some point. Like they were your teacher, they were your coach, and that's just what
That's what it is. Exactly.
Right? Especially when Coach Drass came in the meeting and said, "If you call me Mike, if you call me Drass, I like Wawa. I'll go take a job there and we'll fight." So. Yeah, so I love that point because it's just such a great feeling.
Yeah, definitely.
And once Shane comes back and coaches baseball, he'll feel that too.
Yeah, you're next, man. We came back.
I know, man. I know.
Actually, I told Dom on Saturday, I was like, I got a couple questions for you guys myself, and that was actually one of my questions.
There you go. I forgot you had questions for us.
We only got 2 more questions, so once we finish these up, we'll hit yours.
Yeah.
All righty.
Q&A from the guest, first timer. We would have me at football, Anthony at wrestling, Hess at basketball, you at baseball. Maybe Whitney wants to come back and do volleyball because volleyball is getting a new coach.
More like you probably. I mean, Whitney wouldn't be able to, but maybe somebody like Lindsay.
Lindsay at volleyball. She's on Cecil, isn't she? Or she
I don't know. Maybe she is.
Cecil.
I don't know. I really haven't kept up, so I don't know. But maybe.
Okay. Shout out Lindsay Bunger.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So now we're getting to our junior program here, and this. I don't care how long you talk about this because we talked about how amazing it is, and it's a multi-part question here. But I just want to know. I watch it from the door when I'm at a basketball game. I peek through, and then little kids peeking back at me, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" But like, what is the program like? You talked about there being different divisions, different levels. What do you guys do at a practice? Maybe that's different than a normal practice. And the last part would be, how can someone get involved with you guys?
Okay, so I would say the first thing, we have 2 divisions. We have our novice group, which is generally first, second wrestlers. Sometimes you might get a third-year guy that kind of like is teetering that advanced line or not, and they don't really know if they're ready for that. Mm-hmm. But then we have our advanced program, and those are the guys that are from there on out, and they kind of understand it a little bit more. They kind of understand the concept and the technique behind it. So I do both of those with the high schools. It's so much fun, to be honest. Like, I will say the novice group that we do, it's generally kids from like maybe 4 years old to like maybe 9 years old. So they're like little kids. And we don't really do too much of like hardcore wrestling. It's more of like, hey, let's go over a double leg and a half Nelson. Now let's play a game afterwards. I think the biggest thing with them is I'm just trying to make them have fun, man.
Absolutely.
And like, if you're not having fun with it, then what are you doing out there? No matter what age you're at, like you could be 4 years old, you can be 22 years old, and you're senior year in college or whatever. Like if you're not having fun, don't do it.
Right.
And what's the age of the advanced group?
So
does it start at?
They would generally start at, I would say, about like 8, 9 years old, and then they go through 8th grade.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, like with the younger group, I think the most important takeaway is just like one move a day or like one move of practice. Like like you said, like let's just work
might
on
be
double
one move
leg.
up, 2 weeks.
Right. It could be.
With our novice group, it's literally like a double leg, a half Nelson, maybe throw a headlock in there,
Right.
and then maybe another, and like a stand up and a cut through. Right. It's very, very like 4 moves, maybe 5
You're
max.
4 years old, though, right?
Yes.
I mean, you're at the point like you might be doing that for 10 minutes.
Exactly.
It's just
Right.
playing
And then, like you
games.
said, like you peeked in there, and we had over with our novice and our advanced group, we had over 100 kids in that room. So 50
Okay,
each.
did not see that.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's awesome.
So like I love the numbers. I
They
love
go
the
different
amount.
times?
Yes.
Yeah.
So novice is 2 times a week and advanced is 3 times a week.
Nice.
I love the numbers. I love having 100 kids there. I just wish we had the bigger space, and that's like
Right.
I feel like that's the biggest downfall with us, like in our junior program now. It's just we have the kids, we have the numbers, we just don't have the space for
Hey,
it.
CCPS, let's get that pole barn up.
Yes,
that,
please.
That Dean Cox wrestling barn.
Yes,
we tried.
please.
We tried.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into that, but that would be amazing. Now that also would free up space for us in the winter because you guys
It's a win-win situation for everybody here.
Yeah, I mean, 100 kids. That's awesome.
I love it,
I
man.
mean, yeah, you got like a perfect farm system.
We really
built,
do.
You know.
It is.
And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about. It's like you have those roller coaster, with your junior league and your high school and everything. And for the foreseeable future, I don't see that roller coaster happening with us with the amount of kids that we have. And, a lot of kids kind of jump off or die off after a
sure.
couple of weeks or a month or so. And we didn't
Their
have
parents are trying to,
get them something
sure.
different or whatever. And now we don't have numbers drop, and it's awesome. I love it.
So and you're making them have fun too. So that's
It's the biggest
keeps them-
thing.
that
Like
keeps them-
novice, advanced, high school,
Right.
have fun.
Right. Are they competing? Or your junior wrestling program, are they doing tournaments? Are they like, if they are, is it on their own or is it through the schools?
So for our novice group, or for both of them, we're in a league. We're in the UCWL league. It's the Upper Chesapeake Wrestling League. So that covers, Cecil, Hartford, Baltimore County, and stuff like that. So we are in a league with that. For our novice group, we don't really do too much team stuff. It's like, hey, there's a novice tournament or a takedown tournament. Like, take them down. That's it. Not a real match kind of thing.
That's cool.
So it's kind of like let them kind of ease their way into it. Now for our advance, like we will have still our open tournaments where you can go out and kind of represent yourself individually, but still kind of wear the Rising Sun singlet. And then we'll do like a tournament or a dual meet kind of aspect where it's like, hey, it's Rising Sun versus North Baltimore, or Rising Sun versus Smyrna, or whatever it is. So with the advanced group, it's a little bit more kind of getting them ready for high school.
Right.
That team
Makes sense.
That more of a team aspect in the individual sport.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And
go ahead.
sorry, I was just going to say, and if somebody wants to get their kid involved, how would they go about that?
Oh, go through the Parks and Rec program. That's
Is that what it's through?
That's what we go through. Yeah. So I want to say registrations usually open up October, maybe. I want to say like October, maybe late September, early October. Registrations open up for wrestling about then, and if you ever want to come out,
I will 100% be like, I will be putting Roman in that. Like
Yeah, I plan on signing up too.
I have already. It's gonna be awesome.
I think one thing that I love about Maryland wrestling that's growing too is women's wrestling.
Yeah.
Women's wrestling is growing fast, and it's awesome. 'Cause I actually just looked at a stat the other day, and it was like, I think 15,000 female athletes last year registered to compete at a tournament or competed in general. We had 38,000 this year, so we nearly doubled the amount of
awesome.
female athletes. And if you have a young daughter, or,
right,
even
absolutely.
a high school daughter or anything like that, like get them involved in it, get them into wrestling.
Is there any female wrestlers on Rising Sun High School?
We
Anna
do.
Farr,
Okay.
Anna Farr. Shout out
Okay.
Anna Farr. She is like we've had some prior to Anna, but I think she's like paving the way for
Oh my God.
from the future from here on out. And
like definition of a hard worker.
you couldn't ask for a better role model to have.
The whole family too. Like we have Elijah, who's also wrestling the wrestling team, but he's our right guard and plays defense and stuff for us too. But like literally the most coachable kids ever.
Oh, yes, I love them both.
Just do whatever you ask, and we'll put in 100% to whatever that task is at the time.
Dope.
So yeah, the one match I watched, I think it was North Hartford.
Oh yeah.
That big dude came out against her.
Yeah.
Dude, she pinned him late in the match.
She was losing too.
He
Was she?
was hot. Dude, he did not come out of the hallway for like 30 minutes. And
he wasn't feeling too good after that
I
one.
didn't feel bad about it for a second.
No.
Like, dog, you probably thought out coming out there like shit's sweet, but
Right.
Now with
Anna showed you what's up.
I'm actually surprised there's not more female wrestlers because there is a ton of female jiu-jitsu
really?
athletes. Yeah, and I've been tapped by many of them.
And I want to say, like, with that, I bet you it's more of the fact that those women are older, like, than a high school girl that doesn't want to come out and be that stigma of being on the wrestling team.
Right.
That's the thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, Anna don't care. Like, she doesn't care.
Not at all.
She's at advanced fitness and just lifts her way around everybody else in there. And, like, you just gotta have you have the culture now that, like, could have just openly, with open arms, just...
Right.
Nothing's different if you come in here.
No.
Not gonna coach you any different. You're not gonna be treated any
There's
different.
no treatment that's going to change whatsoever.
And if you're better than somebody else, you're going to wrestle.
You're going to earn that spot.
Right.
If you earn that spot is yours. Now, we do have, like, you have your boys or co-ed division, and then you have your female division.
You're
so
right,
they
right.
do have their own division and everything.
During the year, they wrestle co-ed, right? And
Yeah.
then at the state tournament, they wrestle girls.
It's all girls, yes. And there are tournaments where they have girls, just strictly girls and stuff like that. But we just have Anna, so she's competing with the boys. She's
So
gonna have to
it's got-
scrap
I mean, that's probably what she wants. She probably
she's a
I gotta
scrapper.
imagine. I mean, if you're that good, like I would.
she
wanna
calls
throw
me
down.
out of practice. So she give me a couple black eyes. I'm like,
there's not a care in the world with her. She's not worried about who she's going against. So now,
Right.
if you go to another tournament, is it a matter of, like, how many girls are there? And they do you do a dual meet or something like that. No,
So-
not a dual meet, sorry.
like an individual tournament.
Sure. Like, is it a matter of, like, how many girls are there? They'll do a separate tournament?
So what they'll do? So for example, we go to War on the Shore, which is down in Ocean City, and they have a girls division themselves. So what they usually do is, say you weigh at a certain weight, but there's only like one other girl in there. What they could do is combine another weight class. That way you actually get like more than one match a day or two matches. At least you can get like 4 or 5. Sometimes they combine the weight classes where you might wrestle somebody a little bit heavier or a little bit lighter than you, and that's just to get them more mat time.
Sure.
Right. Makes sense.
Well, I got one more question for you. I'm shouting out to your boy Arian, right?
That's right, Arian.
Yeah. So
He even asked me, he was like, "You going to mention me on the podcast?" So here we are.
Well, the perfect part is he's got to listen to the whole thing. To get to
the very end.
So Arian, I'm gonna need you to listen to this hour podcast. You are mentioned, and now we've mentioned his name multiple times. I watch him, and he seems awesome.
Oh, that kid is amazing.
Yeah.
Kid is amazing.
He seems just like a bundle of fun and just being a dude, being a boy.
Dude,
and
he's giving me something that I never in a million years would have ever thought I'd be in the situation I'm in, but it is like the best thing ever.
Yeah, shout out to Mallory too for your dance moves. Great mom, great dancer. I had to drag Anthony. I'll put my phone up to the camera there. I had to drag Anthony and Lance onto the dance floor at the Beef and Beer
a couple different times.
Mallory did not leave my side.
She got the moves. She got the rhythm.
Let's go.
Me, not so much. I'm not there.
So another shout out there, but like, so you're getting to watch Arian in the junior league, and he plays football too.
Football and soccer and track, like anything.
Sorry, I didn't know I did all that stuff, but so just watching him do all this stuff, like just especially wrestling. We'll talk about wrestling, just because your whole life is wrestling now and has been.
Right.
Like, how amazing is that to just watch him go through and get to just walk him through that journey.
So at first, like, I didn't want him to wrestle, to be honest with you. Like, I kind of like took a step back, and like, if he was interested in, if they came to a high school match or something like that and he wanted to do it, like, hey, I'll sign you up and we'll do it next year.
Sure.
But it was like 2 weeks into the season, and I was going into practice, and somebody was just like, why don't you bring him along? And so I was like, hey, you want to try it? He was like, yeah, let's go for it. So went out, tried it one practice, and here we are 3 years later, and he loves it.
Nice.
And he looks up to Tyler, and he looks up to the high school team and everything like that. But no, he loves it, and I love it because he loves it.
Right, exactly.
Right. How old is he?
He just turned 10.
Nice. So he's got a lot left.
Oh yeah, and he's a little athlete, so it's like he's good at anything he does.
Right. And that's what you have to like. You have to help promote that. Like, play whatever you want to play.
yeah.
And you know, try your best at whatever you want to do. And if like at the end of the day, if wrestling's all you want to do, great.
You want to do like just because I did wrestling, if you want to do soccer, you want to do football, you want to do whatever, as long as it's not basketball because that's during wrestling season. But you know, if you decide to do it, I'll be okay with it. But no, it's just like go out there and have fun, man. Like you're gonna be good at whatever you do. Just stick with it and just go all in.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Like I'm gonna tell Roman when he is old enough to understand what I say. I do care because I do want to play football. He's got a nice body of a guard or a linebacker right now. But like, yeah, you want to be a chess player, you better be the best at it.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, right.
I know I wasn't the best at everything I did, but like, you better be the best at it.
Like once you find your thing that you're good at, like
hammer.
I was just about to say that. Like it's so good at a young age to try everything.
Oh, yeah.
But once you've narrowed it down to one or two things, like okay, now that's when you get serious about like I'm all in.
Right.
Like, this
Exactly.
is what you have to perfect.
And let's keep on our topic here of not doing that at like 7th grade.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And
Exactly.
doing travel for the rest of your life. And then by freshman year of high school or college, you hate it.
Right.
Because it's too much.
Again,
You know?
and that goes back to just having fun, man. If you're not having fun with it, don't do it.
Yeah. Right.
Like if it feels more of a job at that point,
Yeah.
something's off. You gotta take a step back and like take a look at yourself in the mirror, or take a look at your surroundings, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
if you're not having fun, man, like something's wrong.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
No doubt. I mean, hey, that kind of concludes it. But this
I got one more.
All right,
I got
sorry,
one more.
sorry.
It wasn't on the
Shane,
sheet.
Shane always has an impromptu question, and that's what we keep.
I
That's
just
what
wanna-
Shane's for.
I just want to know, what do I got to do to get you in the jiu-jitsu gym? Because I have I have tried to get Lance in there so many times and he won't do it.
To be honest with you, I want to. I really do because I want to go out and compete. Like I want to. Like I did Mawas last year. It's an open tournament for
Are
wrestling.
you competing this year? Because I know Lance is still.
Lance did. I didn't do it this year
Okay.
because in the back of my mind it was like Mallory and Arian saw me win. I got first place, so let me ride that coattails of being a champion like for as long as I possibly can. Forever.
That's pretty good.
But now I'm getting like a lot of other parents are like, "Hey, I'll compete in the next year if you do it," and I'm like, "Okay." Now my big thing is like I always tell the wrestlers like, "Hey, if you do it, I'll sign up and do it with you." So if we can get like 5 of our wrestlers to go out there and do Mawas, hey, I'll go out there and sign up and do it.
I liked Lance's post of the 44-year-old guy. Was that happen yet? Or
Yeah, that already happened. He actually made it to the finals.
yeah, I was gonna say that's 44-year-old dude competing in the finals for the Olympic trials.
And the guy he was going against was like 20 years younger than him. It's insane.
Lance was like, I officially have no more excuses. But yeah, I mean, sure, yeah. At that point,
I told Lance, I'm like, because Lance is a stud. I'm like, dude, you would just fucking crush on the jiu-jitsu mats. And like, you could go and compete and win all kinds of medals and you could win money and stuff. Like, I'm like, just come try it, dude. And he's like, all right, I will. But he never does.
that's what I
Because
said.
it kind of, I'm glad you asked that because that kind of leads into a question that I have for you.
All right.
So, to answer your question first, I would love to. I really would. It's just the time, man. It's just like it's tough, but I feel like you can always find the time, and I feel like that's just a lame excuse about saying it's just the time or whatever.
Right.
But
Life gets in the way.
Yeah. Here's the deal. Arian's into wrestling or whatever. Let's get you both in there,
Right.
You know, because we'll do the kids class. So they have evenings. You guys can come with me. We'll do the kids class, and then we'll roll right into the beginner adult classes, and I'll roll with you.
That's perfect, man. I'm definitely down for that. Especially if I get him involved in it. I'm here for
cheer
it.
you on.
Woo! So that kind of leads me into a question that I have for you.
All right.
So you have now 2 podcasts that you do.
Let's go.
You do jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
You work daily.
Right.
You have kids, right?
Yep, I got one.
And you have a wife. So
Yep.
it's like, how do you manage that time? How does that?
What a great question.
That is a good
from
question.
a guest.
And I mean, it's not easy, but shout out to Whitney because she helps me out a bunch. And our schedules kind of work out where I'm usually home, kind of earlier in the day, and I take over kid duty until she gets home, and then we split our time. Like when she gets home 2 days a week, I'll go to jiu-jitsu. 2 days a week, she goes to the gym.
Right.
And then I just try and plan these things out whenever you
can.
I find a free 2 hours anywhere. And that, dude, I've like the next 2 weeks are crazy for me. The next 2 weeks I've got jiu-jitsu, plus I've got, I think, 6 podcasts lined up between
Wow.
this and my other one. Yeah, dude,
6?
yeah.
Next week?
No, so we have this one. I got one Saturday, one Monday, one Wednesday,
Why are we
one
not
Friday.
multiple weeks?
Dude,
Because you got other ones.
I got a lot.
Damn, Upper Bay getting in the way.
I got a lot, man. But that is a good question. But I mean, shout out to Whitney, dude, because
she's the real MVP.
She is the real MVP. She helps me out so freaking much, man.
I definitely understand that because Mallory, man, from November to March, I am not home. Like I have to be at work at 6 a.m. I don't get home till 9 o'clock at night, and that's for 4 or 5 months.
You were there, for the wrestling practice, then
the high school, then both.
Yeah.
I'm there I'm in that wrestling room for 5 hours. So
you stink when you come out.
I know it's not pleasant, but definitely I definitely understand that because I'm sure you understand it too. It's like those are the ones that really deserve the credit because
absolutely.
If I was still coaching college, I would be divorced, just with the amount of times. But high school, still a lot of time. Yet I can control my own time, where I wasn't.
Right.
You need to be in the meeting room till 1 a.m. on a Sunday night.
Right.
Then turn around and go to study hall at 7.
Right.
I mean, truthfully, it didn't get hard until we had the kid. When it's just you two, it's like, whatever.
Do what you want.
I mean, like, okay, you have to sit home for a couple hours. We'll go out this weekend or whatever. But once we had Waylon and stuff, it got harder. But like I said, she helps me out a bunch.
Right,
and she's super supportive. Like when I started Upper Bay before we did this, like I was doing clothing before that. Like, and it's all just chasing a dream. Trying to start a business or whatever. And she's all in.
That's
she's
awesome.
like, do whatever you want to do.
Right, exactly. And as long as you had that support system behind you, I mean, definitely can see why.
Same thing with you too, because Mallory probably knows it makes you like very happy.
It's my passion. I mean, like you said, this is who I am. Like I am a wrestler. Like that's what I'll always be known for.
Right.
Whenever I decide to hang it up, that first August and your first winter, right? It'll be like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Like,
I'll be like a Coach Cox and just keep coming back periodically. Like every year, I feel like coming back,
showing up.
Like, there I am.
You guys need help, or
when I'm done head coaching, I'll probably do the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be done head coaching, but let me be on the staff. Like I got to be a part of it.
Right.
Like, and I'm going to be teaching for the next 25 years. Am I going to be the head coach for that? I don't know.
Right.
After going 1-9, probably not for another year. But
because I mean, he asked me about like coaching baseball. I'm like, I don't have time. He's like, you got time, and I mean, I probably would have time.
Well, you got a lot more stuff than I do.
I'd have to give up something, so then I'd have to pick like, what do I give up? And
right, exactly.
I'm really enjoying what I'm doing right now.
How can you not?
Sure. But once you start coaching, have you heard all these answers from all these coaches we've had?
I've been out on the t-ball field twice this week. I'm feeling it. I feel like I could come back.
All right, don't. I heard LeBron say that he just has to hear the kids in the dugout saying "poop bat, poop bat, poop bat."
I'm not even at that point yet. We're just Kenny and I are just trying to like herd.
Oh, it's you and Kenny.
Well, it's all parents because they're so young. It's 2 and 3 year olds. But we're literally just trying to keep them from eating dirt. So
I did that when I was playing in like 4th grade. That's why I stopped playing baseball. Just picking daisies out in the outfield.
I mean, he did have 2 really good hits today, and he made a play at first on a ground ball.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
I'm just envisioning Waylon smoking the ball off a tee and then like full on split kick. Like at first, it's probably like a just rolled to him and he'd call it
leisurely.
It looked
probably like gritty into first base or something.
Was he safe? Yeah. He was he out?
He hit a line drive shot today, and he like threw the bat on the backswing. The guy was like, "Hey, tell him not to throw the bat next time." I was like, "Nah, he's okay. He's good."
That's a bat right, dog. Have some. Yeah.
But anything else?
You got a question for me?
Of course I do. Of course I do.
I like it. Come prepared.
So you were an assistant coach before, and now you are a head coach.
Yep.
What kind of how was that transition going from assistant to a head coach? Because you were assistant at college, and then did you also assist Coach Vaughn?
Yeah, for 5 years.
Okay, so how was that transition going from like a assistant to a head coach?
Well, for the same as you, probably. Like if you were to take over the wrestling program, probably the same answer for you. Like you have been putting your voice in there so much that, let's say Seth today was like, Anthony, it's yours next year. Nothing would change, right? Like. You follow the same stuff Seth did. Seth follows the same stuff Coach Cox did.
Right.
I follow the same stuff Coach Vaughn did. And Coach Drass, my former college coach. So like nothing's changed. And
Right.
we talked about on his, like I got to first start by coaching kids my age. Like
That I can't even imagine how that was.
yeah, I listened to the podcast.
I did.
No. I'm so grateful for having done that because coming back to high school, now obviously we talk about differentiated coaching, like
Right.
you got to tone it back a little bit. But like if I can see myself controlling a kid that's literally is older than me. I
Right.
have 2 kids older than me. Like if I can do that, like what's telling me that I can't go back and just like not command, but like build a culture in high school.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? And I kind of, what's great about Coach Vaughn is that when I came back, he was trying to put me on the JV at first, and I said no to that. But when I came back, like, and he saw how much I knew and how much I could bring to the table,
Right.
he let me run a lot. Like, I ran the strength and conditioning program, which was all about, like, we're having heart-to-hearts at the end of a strength conditioning, lifting session.
Right.
And it's all about change, and it's that just got trickled down from class to class to class. Like Coach Dom doesn't, he doesn't mess around.
Right.
And it was very easy to transition to that, like into the fact of just things aren't going to change.
Right, exactly.
Playbook might change a little bit, but like and we talk about the
culture
standards and stuff,
everything.
and things change with the situations that happen, but it's like nothing changed in regards to this is the expectation that you have to play on this team.
Right.
For our coaching staff. And only thing that changed was Coach Vaughn left.
Exactly.
And I stepped up. And
Right.
it was like all the other coaching staff stayed the same.
Right.
So yeah, I mean it was a very easy transition. I could see it if it was like I came back from college and Bow Manor or Northeast and decided like they have a coaching vacancy.
Right.
And I'm coming to kids that I don't know, which I did at Rising Sun. I didn't know these kids. But like, and I don't know the staff. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's like, so with the fact that we kept the staff the same and the culture stayed the same, it was very easy. And I changed little things here and there. But
Right.
It's nothing that's like mind blowing.
Too drastic or anything
Yeah,
like that.
no.
Nothing dramatic. or
No,
anything.
it's just my little flair on things.
Right.
And my little flair is you better get it done.
Right.
Let's
I
go.
will
We got-
say, like, the one thing I love about the Rising Sun Sports right now is that you're so passionate about the football team and I'm so passionate about the wrestling team. I feel like we have a good thing coming
Yes,
like, in the
right.
future for Rising Sun. I feel like we're going to be
Yes.
getting, like, these kids to where they need to be and where they want to be.
Yeah, right.
And, like, the whole community's behind us. And that's, like, one thing I'm loving. Like, I
Oh,
can see it in the
that's
future between, the two of us. It's just, like, we're getting that culture where Rising
'cause
Sun should
eventually-
need to be.
Eventually, let's just put it out there, like I said with Hess. Hess is probably going to be the varsity basketball coach at some point.
Right.
You're probably going to be the head coach.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe Seth doesn't leave. But whatever.
Find out one day.
Regardless, right? Like, I know that's something you probably want.
Oh,
I
yeah,
put Hess on the
definitely.
spot last time. You want that, right? But, like, that's what I said. I want everybody at Rising Sun to have a full passion
Right.
about Rising Sun.
Exactly.
Because if you don't, then we're not getting the best we can. And that's why Shane's going to come back to basketball because he loves right?
But I mean, like, the reality of it is like what you guys are doing for Rising Sun is what people in this entire county should be doing for every high school, right? Like
Right.
we talked about a little bit that the main decision parents are having to make now is whether or not they want to send their kids to public school for sports or private school for sports. And most parents are leading to private schools because the programs are better. Their kids have a chance to go to a college program
Right.
from there or whatever for recruitment. So the goal for all public schools in this county should be we need to have qualified coaches that have had experience, maybe at the next level, maybe not, but are passionate about it enough to bring kids in and put it in to instill them that this is what we're going to do. We're going to grind it out. We're going to win. We're going to lose, whatever. We're going to do our best and whatever it may be. But we really need to come together as a county and emphasize to every school, like, let's amp these programs up.
Exactly.
Let's make them better.
And I'm just going to shout out the football team, like football county. Every coach that's in the county right now is doing that. Like
Okay.
I can say that Rossi is doing that at Elkton by far.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Like Taylor's doing that at Northeast. Vince is doing that at Bow Manor. Sandora is doing that at Perryville. Like
Right.
we are, Rising Sun wasn't it last year, but like I want other counties, and if we play an out of conference game somewhere else, I want them to think, damn, we got a Cecil County team.
Right,
matchup.
exactly.
That's you with wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're going to, granted, Stephen Decatur, that's our white whale. And that's
Stephen
Mount Union
Decatur.
and all that stuff for wrestling.
Oh, my gosh.
But, like, granted, like, you go out and do War on the Shore, it's like, damn, I got a Rising Sun wrestler in my matchup.
That's what we want.
That's what you want.
That's what we want.
Yeah, and that's, and I mean, I'll say it and I'll say it again, this is the town that should shut down for a sporting event.
Yeah,
I mean, the whole county, dude.
It should be Permian Panthers, montage to the street, close for the game.
I see like
close
other
for the
towns do
match.
like parades for their teams, for their high school teams, and like going to playoffs.
We
like,
got
you
our
don't have
sign
to win
in town.
anything.
We got our sign in town.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just like, but I will say that I feel like, Travis, especially the mayor of Rising Sun, I feel like he's definitely involved with it and everything.
There's so many other people that just don't know though.
Yeah.
Because if you imagine like other people like in those big football states, I don't care what sports state, like there's people that are coming there that have no connection to anybody playing on that team because that's what they eat, sleep, and breathe.
Right.
Is that sport. I don't care if you played it.
Right.
Like it should just be that way.
Just come out and support.
Right.
Support the kids.
Exactly.
Right. And maybe that's where this whole thing will, maybe that's where this whole podcast will go, eventually is leading to, pull the counties together, all these small towns together and like change things, make all the people that live in the towns, whether their kids go to the school or not, make them aware of the programs, make them aware of football games on Friday nights, get the businesses involved and everything, so maybe, I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the end goal.
I was going to say 100%. I told a kid today, like, they're like, are you going to have other coaches on? I was like, yeah, I want I don't even care if it's a Hartford County coach because we had one of my players' dads reach out, Aberdeen state championship head coach. He's going to come on and talk about that.
That's awesome.
We want to just expand it and just make sure that, like, even Hartford County, there are small towns.
Right.
Even though Elkton's probably one of the biggest, or Bel Air, or stuff like that.
They're the biggest, but at the same time, they're small. They're small.
But compared to everybody else out there, like, we are small.
Oh,
we are very small communities. And the teams are very small.
Yep.
We don't have 100 kids coming out for the football team every year. We have 60 between both.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, that's our end goal with that. So, man, this has been a good one.
This was a really
fun.
good one.
This was a very good one, and I was able to talk, so that felt really good. I did not have to leave the mic to go die outside of the camera. So, last question, and we've asked everybody this, and we'll continue to ask it. Is you've already hit on it, but we'll just touch on it again. Like when you think competition, and that's everybody that's going to bring on its entire life,
right?
But like, what does that mean to you? Like when you think just
what a great question,
competitive competition.
It's a tough one.
Oh man,
We want you to think real hard.
So you must not listen to the end of the podcast because that's on every other one.
We only made it 10 minutes in. It's fine.
Come on,
Hey, it's
guys.
all right. 60 seconds equals a listen.
I heard about the Eagles den, and I was all in from there. But no, what a great question. So I would say, like, what's competition to me? It's just going out there and just being like a warrior. It's just kind of going out there and just, I train so hard and so long, and like, nobody trained harder than me. So it's like when I go out there and I step on that line, like that's what the beauty of the sport of wrestling. It's like it's me and somebody else. I can't have an excuse of being like, well, say like let's
Somebody
say
else
basketball.
did something.
Yeah, it's like I have no excuse for that. It's me and this other person. The only excuse I have is I didn't train hard enough.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's just being a warrior and just going out there and just doing what you got to do to survive and just get your hand raised at the end of the day. So being a competitor to me is just doing what it takes to get to where you need to be.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the best questions for a wrestler because it's you
one-on-one, baby.
or them.
Exactly.
Like we're not going to have any other sports besides when we have your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy on that it's just you.
Right.
And, if we're talking, we might have a track person on it. Like it is just you there, but it's you or the other guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the other girl.
Who's it
is
going to
what
be?
is.
Who trained harder that week?
Right.
That's pretty much how it boils down.
It's a great answer.
Great answer. I agree.
Great answer. So,
Cool. Let's end it on that one.
Well, we got a little hometown spotlight.
Yes, true. I forgot. My
What are
apologies.
we going to that
My apologies.
hometown spotlight or a hometown highlight? Let's just get this straight.
I don't know. What do you think? I like Spotlight.
Have a little poll.
Yeah, there we go.
out there.
We're going to call it a
on the gram.
hometown spotlight for now. It might be a highlight. So we are finally branching outside of the county. Thank you to Coach Tremo, one of the best track coaches ever. Got our 4x1 team to states. But he coaches at Perryville High School now, and he sent us in two just apparently dogs that just destroyed the county meets. So we got Sean Beard, and these are our first individual ones.
Okay.
Well, so I like that.
Okay.
Sean Beard, he won the 100, 200, 4x1, and 4x2 at the county meets.
Wow, holy.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not a lot of points for your team.
Yeah.
And then Blake Stevens, who won the high jump, triple jump, 4x1, and he got second in the long jump.
Nice.
Wow.
I think, I mean, congrats to those guys because, wow, that's impressive.
That's awesome.
I mean, like, I don't care if it's a counties or anything. You sweep every single category.
Right.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think you're doing something right.
Yeah. Let's spice that up a little bit, too. So, because we're having a little bit of issues with people reaching out with some thing, like some people to put in the spotlight or whatever. So, if you send us a spotlight, if the kid or the student is on social media, we'll give them a follow and we'll give them a shout out on the social media.
I'll find them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I definitely and I'm glad. Now, I'm very close with him. Not still, but every time I talk to him, it's like, it's Coach.
Like you just,
Yeah, it's Coach Tremo. I call him Tremo. That's a high school kid in me there, but that's what everybody calls him. But, yeah. So he reached out to me with those guys, and I was like, that's a given.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I want a kid that I've seen Elkton baseball is doing really good with posting all their stats.
it's like 2 games they had like over 40 runs.
Yeah.
It was insane.
So
Shout out to Ethan Klein.
Yeah. Hey. Jordan Hutchinson asked for a shout out for Ethan Klein. So there's another one. So anyway, yeah, like we want the individual. I like the individuals better.
Right.
I like the teams. We've shouted out riding some baseball and softball. I'm biased. But I like the individuals, especially since we're talking to an individual coach. It's that dude is doing it on its own. That girl's doing it on its own. I had another track shout out, but it was another Rising Sun one. So I'll save it for another day. We'll give Perryville their love.
Their spotlight.
Yeah, right. But we want to hear from you. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So Anthony, what'd you think, man?
Man, this was so much fun.
Yeah, it was.
I think you guys are doing a perfect thing for the entire county, and not even just the county, like Hartford County or whatever. It's like the local area that's around us. You guys are doing the right things and kind of feel like this is what the new age is. It's like a lot of people want to go on Spotify, listen to a podcast, and they don't really get a perspective from too many people. And you guys are doing the right things, picking and pulling and everything.
Yeah.
So man, it was a privilege to be on here. So thank you guys for having me on here. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
I was eager for it. Like when we were talking, when we were texting each other about it, dude, I was so hyped about it. So thank you guys again for it.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Also, the best answer we've gotten about what'd you think? Not
Right.
That was good. Sorry, Hess.
I mean, this episode was by far my favorite.
It was good.
It was really good.
good. You gave great answers, and you're just so passionate about it that
I love it.
Yeah.
Passionate about wrestling, passionate about Rising Sun, passionate about the county and just getting everybody up, like the sport, especially the sports in the county.
I want Cecil County. Well, I don't want everybody in football to be fair, besides us. But when you think about playoffs, it is what it is. Like when you're not in the playoffs anymore or something like that, go represent for us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just amp us up. Everybody go out and watch a game. Go watch a match. Go watch something. Go watch a track meet.
I have one more shout out. Shout out to West Nottingham too, because when you posted a couple days ago, you posted the whole counties around.
Yeah.
The head coach messaged me and he was like, "Why isn't West Nottingham on there?" I was like, "Don't worry, I'll give you guys a little shout out."
You're right. And we got to
give a shout out to West
Was
Nottingham.
Tome on there?
Tome was on there. Tome
So
was on there.
listen, West Nottingham, if you're listening, I stole that from Google. That was Cecil Wiggs' problem. Right? Cecil Daly, whatever you want to call it.
Well, look, if you're from West Nottingham, you send us a player for the hometown
Let's
spotlight.
go. Yeah,
Gotta have somebody. Gotta have somebody. So listen, let's wrap it up. That was awesome. Great conversation. Shout out to the YouTube watchers. Let's go.
Yeah, we will be on YouTube, Hometown Advantage Podcast on YouTube. This will hopefully be uploaded next week.
Like and subscribe, people. Like and subscribe.
Let's go. And I'm telling you what, I'm ready to put the $15 a month in Apple Music.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is. I'll front that. That's easy.
You guys got a good thing going. So definitely run with it.
Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. See what we're posting. Kind of just try to highlight the guests that we're having, and I on our story we're just posting everybody's sports.
Right.
it kind of pains me to do that, being from Rising Sun, but the goal is to highlight all Cecil County sports.
Right.
Exactly.
Expand it, see what we're doing, see how good we are, and see how good people are. And then, give us a watch, give us a listen, all that good stuff. And I can't wait to keep this rolling.
Yeah, man. Next week's going to be fun, too. Blow it up on the socials. We got to keep this thing growing. You guys are going to help us the most.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, share us.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't even, you listen to 60 seconds and you're like, that guy sounds energetic. Listen to another 60 seconds. And then, share it with somebody else. They might listen to the whole thing. But, Anthony, it was great having you on. I appreciate it. And next week, we're kind of getting into a full, it's Rising Sun, but like not a specific sport. So this will be a good one in regards to like kind of a youth sports kind of deal. So thanks for listening again, guys.
Yep.
And peace. Have a good day.
Later.